he just whatever.
So yeah, you came down for IU
And just
fell in
thought
love
it
with
was
Bloomington.
the greatest.
What did you go to school for?
I was starting out as telecom, and then I realized that wasn't for me, so I ended up going to English, switching to English because I'm a writer.
Well, did you do any jobs at all while you were in school?
Well, after I was kicked out of IU, not doing things I should have been. I mean, I just screwed around. Just screwed around. Just not being focused.
So I dropped out. I can't. Yeah.
So I needed to find this. I knew this was gonna, and so that's what I was ready for, because I was reflecting upon this whole journey of mine. So then I ended up needing a job. I was 20 years old, and I got hired at no longer around, very famous Chinese restaurant called Lung Chung, run by a gentleman named Beaumont Hung. And it was a Hong Kong-based family business. It's where the Ken Nunn office used to be downtown.
Where's that at?
It's now where the People's State Bank loan, next to that, whatever that is over there. But there used to be a brick Ken Nunn office.
Is that like 4th and College?
Yes. And so Lung Chung so this family had a Chinese restaurant in Hong Kong, Hawaii, and Bloomington. And it was considered the best. Out. Yeah, it had so run by Beaumont.
They say Bloomington's the London of the Midwest. So
it is. I never heard that before.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, I hear it all the time.
I love that. Yes. So I went there and I got hired as a busser, as a busboy, as we,
20 years old.
20 years old. And Beaumont was so scared of my energy that he put me in the dish pit. Now, the dish pit.
Did he have a conversation with you, or like?
Yeah, I got hired as a busser, and then he got scared. So he just thought I was just a little bit too wild. So he put me in the kitchen, and
away from the guests.
Yeah, away from the guests, and I'd never, here you go in as like a Friday night, and if you've never worked a dish machine before, the water is actually incredibly hot.
Yeah.
You don't realize because everything has to be sanitary.
We were talking about that in my ServSafe class today. If you can sanitize without any like quat sanitizer, but it's got to be 171 degrees.
I was going to say, I
got that right on the test.
I was going to say it's about 170, so that's nice. Rather hot water, and you got your apron on and everyone's screaming and you're like, what did I get myself into? So I was very humbled by that experience, but I learned a lot about Chinese food because growing up, Chinese food came out of a can. We didn't have any Chinese food in our little town, and I didn't know anything about it and didn't know anything about the culture and being around people that work 60, 70 hours a week.
Right. So I've never seen, really quick, sorry to derail you. I've never seen canned Chinese food. What kind of
Le Choi? Le Choi used to do canned Chinese food?
No, I mean...
Yeah.
Are we talking like...
So they would have like a chicken chop suey kind of stuff?
They still do it. Yeah.
Really?
It's still there. Yeah.
I don't go to the grocery store. That's the whole reason this podcast
So they would have like a meat in a can.
No
There'd be 2 cans.
Yeah.
There'd be 2 cans with the gravy and the vegetables at the bottom and the meat on top, and then you would heat it and throw it all together, and then if you would buy the noodles, the dry noodles, you'd put it on top to make it crunchy.
Oh, okay.
Or just like, ramen.
Yeah,
right?
Well, I know ramen, but I was thinking
we had ramen,
I'm
but
thinking
we didn't
like
have
canned General Tso's or something. You know what I mean? I don't know.
No, they would have this. I don't know if they must still do maybe something.
I've got an app on my phone instead of Instacart. It's No Cart. That was a bad one. All right.
That's okay. Keep on trying.
Miss 100% of the shots
ever give up.
You don't take.
Exactly. Don't ever. Definitely.
So anyway, what did you learn about Chinese food while you're there?
So I just was just like, wow, this place had just the lemon chicken, and they would do the.
Was it a buffet at all, or just
no?
service?
It was just it was a high end. They had a bar. It was a high end Chinese restaurant, and all the hoi polloi came there, and the food was excellent. They're known for their lemon chicken. They're known for everything. It was all excellent. And I fell in love with it. I'm so grateful I started out as the back of the house because it really taught me how to get along with people and what hard work is and what cleaning is.
Yeah.
And I remember one time I made a huge mistake, and it was I didn't have anything to do, and I made the mistake of turning to the boss and saying, "Hey, Beaumont, I don't have anything to do." And he goes, "Really?" And he leads me into the walk-in. And the walk-in is a refrigerator, and they're huge. It's filled with all the vegetables, all the proteins. He said, "Take everything out, scrub this whole thing down, and put it back in. I said, "Oh, I got this." And I walked in, and I don't have any idea what's going on because there's vegetables there I'm not familiar with. There's obviously some kind of system there.
Right.
I should have taken a pen and a piece of paper and written everything down. So I brought everything out, cleaned it as best I could. I was too slow, mopped it too slow. I was just overwhelmed. And then I put everything away incorrectly. And at that day was the most valuable restaurant lesson, which is find something to do. Don't ask the boss owner that you don't have anything to do.
Yeah,
because that's a can of worms.
I'm going to give you a little credit there and say it's kind of on him to like just leave you to it and give no instruction about how to put things back. Or, I don't know, especially if you're younger, it's your first restaurant job. But so what was his reaction when he came to the walk-in?
He was disgusted. He was really.
He couldn't look at you.
Yeah, he gave me the stink eye. But
did you get in any trouble, or he just?
No, I didn't get any trouble. I mean, how could he? He just kind of gruffly restacked and put it all away because he had a system. And
did he give you the old like "I'm not mad, I'm just disappointed" line?
Yeah, absolutely.
So how long did you end up working there?
I was there for I don't know, like 9 months.
Okay, all right. So now you're almost 21, or you're 21.
Yeah, and then
why'd you leave?
I got back into IU.
Oh, no. Okay, so you said I'm going to go back.
I got back into IU, and when I left, Beaumont shed some tears because he really liked where I was coming from. He just knew I was a hard worker and had a good attitude, and I was dependable and stuff.
Well, and it sounds like you grew a lot as a person.
I did
in those time.
Absolutely. And the one thing I'll never forget that also, so around Christmas, he gave us all smoked turkeys. He had a buddy who smoked turkeys, smoked proteins, gave us all smoked turkeys. And I was going to donate it to a local charity because I felt badly because there's some people out there still struggling, and I thought, hey, I'll make somebody's life a little bit nicer with this frozen turkey.
Yeah.
And I smoked frozen turkey. And I told my parents, and my mother was like, Leo Dolph Cook, you are bringing that smoked turkey home for your family. And for years, we always had smoked turkey on my mother's groaning board. So at my parents' house, we have this thing, instead of cooking on Christmas Day, we just put out cheeses and crackers and all kinds of things to munch on each day instead of having a sit-down meal. We call it a groaning board, fresh pineapple, that kind of stuff. And we always had the smoked turkey was always kind of the centerpiece.
And what do you call it? A what board?
Groaning board.
Groaning. Because I like grazing makes it like a grazing board.
My mom just, groan. I don't know. It's what we call, I don't know. It's mom. You'd have to ask her. It's just.
Or like, you're like,
it's the groaning board. That's the only thing it's been called is the groaning board.
Or like, you remember you got to make dinner and you groan. And it's like, I'll just do this instead.
I think it's the weight of it, the groan.
Yeah.
But it's been that way. So I in Beaumont created this family tradition for years and years and years that we always had a smoked turkey on Thanksgiving because of that. So
interesting. I like that.